Yes, I want to show you the 3 exercises that 10x my guitar progress, but I also want to make it clear to you that it's not the complexity of an exercise that's going to get you results. It's consistency and an understanding of your execution that will get you the best results. But why should you listen to me? Well, I've taught hundreds of lessons helping guitar players to understand music so they can solo across the whole fretboard. If you've seen me before, you know I stand by these exercises because they've made the biggest impact in mine and my students playing. So grab your guitar and get ready to learn. The first exercise is going to be playing our major scale in thirds. Out of all of these exercises, this is probably the one that I've done the most, and I believe it's had the biggest impact in my playing. That's why we're putting it first, because I think it's the most important, and I know some of you aren't going to watch this till the end. So we're going to go over the major scale, playing it on 3 notes per string, and then go into playing it in thirds. So we're going to be playing G major in 3 notes per string. It's going to look like this. So let's walk over that slowly. We're going to be on 3rd fret on the E string, and then 5th fret, and then 7th fret, and then going up to the A string, 3rd fret, and then 5th fret, and then 7th fret. And then going up to the D string, we're going to have 4th fret, 5th fret, and then 7th fret. And then going up to the G string, we're going to have 4th fret, 5th fret, 7th fret. And then going up to the B string, we're going to have 5th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret, and then going up to the E string, we're going to have 5th fret, 7th fret, 8th fret. And then it's the same thing back down. So I would slow the video down and make sure you get that down before we move on, because playing it in thirds is going to be damn near impossible if you can't play it at all. So let me play it again, and you follow along with that. And when you're doing that, make sure to place your fingers right up close to that fret, always, not too far back, as it's going to be harder to make the notes ring out. This is a problem that I see players who've been playing for a long time still having. It's just like a thing they haven't thought about before. Make sure you're placing your fingers right up on that fret. Now that we have that down, how do we play it in thirds? Well, playing it in thirds is just skipping a note and then coming back. So for the count up with the scale, it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. We're playing 1, skipping 2, playing 3, and then going back to 2. So 1, 3, 2, and then we skip over 3 and play 4 down to 3, and then we skip over 4 and play 5 down to 4. So we're always playing a note, skipping a note, and then going back. And we do that the whole way up. The reason it's called playing in thirds is because we're playing the third of every note. We're playing the root note, and then its third, which is the 3, and then the second note, and then its third, which is the 4, and then the third note, and then its third, which is the 5. And we do that the whole way up the scale. So I'm going to walk through it slowly, tell you the fret numbers on all of them, and then you can lock this in. So we're going to be on the E string, 3rd fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, then up to the A string, 3rd fret, back down to the E string, 7th fret, back up to the A string, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 7th fret, 5th fret to the D string, 4th fret, back to the A string, 7th fret, back to the D string, 5th fret, 4th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, up to the G string, 4th fret, back to the D string, 7th fret, up to the G string, 5th fret, 4th fret, 7th fret, 5th fret, up to the B string, 5th fret again, back to the G string, 7th fret, up to the B string, 7th fret again, 5th fret, 8th fret, 7th fret, up to the E string, 5th fret, back to the B string, 8th fret, up to the E string, 7th fret, 5th fret, 8th fret. And when you're doing this, when you're playing it up and down, it's helpful to play that top note 2 times because it'll go along with the metronome a lot smoother than if you play it only 1 time. So playing that up and down slowly, it would look like this. And if you want to see that 3-note per string major scale mapped out across the entire fretboard, join my free community link down below, where not only is there lessons on that, but I'm right there to actually help you hit your goals entirely for free. The big hack with this exercise is getting it down first and then getting the metronome clicking and slowly speeding your way up with it, because this is an exercise that's very powerful for getting your hands comfortable moving around the fretboard and getting your pick comfortable going between strings and moving up the scales in peculiar ways as opposed to just playing up the scale. Like when you can get faster with it, it makes regular soloing like infinitely easier, because this is way harder than most of the soloing that you're going to be playing. So getting this down puts that on easy mode. And once you get it down, you can start to switch the intervals. Like if you wanted to play the whole thing in fourths, right? You could do that too. Work your way up the scale in fourths. You can do any interval. I just think thirds is a good one to start on because most chords have thirds in them, so getting your hands comfortable on playing thirds is huge for your playing. Our second exercise is going to be playing our triads across the fretboard. This is super important because your triads are your chords, and if you can't play them across the fretboard, you can't play your chords across the fretboard. So say someone says play an A chord, right? Instead of just having, A chord here and A chord here, you'll be able to grab any A chord around the neck and be able to mess around with it with a blend of the scale knowledge from the previous exercise and the triad knowledge that we're about to go over here. You can just grab a triad, any of them. So how do we actually learn all of our triads to do that? Well, let's go over these A triads in the first position here, like this. All we're doing is playing the notes of A. An A chord is just 3 notes, like every A chord. Even this open A chord down here is the same 3 notes. We have A, C sharp, and E. Same up here, A, C sharp, and E. Same up here, A, C sharp, and E. It's just about repping them out to get them into your hands and comprehending what you're playing. So how do we do that? Well, let's go over the A chords in this position right here. So we're going to be playing the 6th fret on the G string and then 5 on B and E. That's our first triad starting this exercise out. And the intervals in that, like remember when we went and counted up the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1? We can use that same concept here and we would have the 3rd and the 5th and then the root on the top. And then as we go down, we're taking that root and putting it on the D string. Kind of like the Cliffs of Dover interval. He's doing it down here. Anyway, we're taking that, putting it down here. So we're going to be on 5th fret on the B, 6th fret on the G, and 5th fret on the D. So those first two. And then our next one, we're going to be moving our ring finger to the 7th fret of the A and putting our pinky on the 7th fret of the D. And you can pick our pointer finger up here now. So let's take those first 3 and play them down and back up together. Slow it down a little bit. So let's work our way back down and add that last one in. We're going to take our ring finger and put it on the 9th fret of the low E, and then put our pointer finger on the 7th fret of the A and D strings. So let's play all of those down and up together here. Now, it's important to not just play those, but to understand them. Like I said way in the beginning of this video, your understanding of what you're playing makes a huge difference. So we talked a little bit about this with that first one being the 3, 5, 1, and then bringing the 1 to the bottom, making this one 1, 3, 5. We take the 5, put it on the bottom, 5, 1, 3. We take the 3, put it on the bottom, 3, 5, 1. So it's important when you're playing these to not just get them into your hands, but to get them into your head too, what you're actually playing, because it makes it way easier to play around with them in the future, and it's good to know what you're playing. You're never going to know what you're playing too well, but not knowing it can cause limitations in your playing. So make sure to get that exercise down. I'm just going down and up these triads, and it'll make a huge difference in your ability to move around the fretboard. Our third exercise is a bit of a mental exercise. This is going to be getting the diatonic chords down, which is just the chords that fit into a key or into a scale using just the notes in the scale. So if we were to take A major and play only the notes from the scale to make chords, we would have A major, B minor, C sharp minor, D major, E major, F sharp minor, G sharp diminished, back to A. And every key or scale follows that pattern, at least the major scale, the major keys. Major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, diminished, back to major. So this exercise is just taking songs you already know and putting them into that box. So let's say we have a chord progression that's A, E, D, A, and then B minor, D, A, right? Those are our chords. We would just figure out how they fit into the key with our numbers here. So our A would be our 1, right? That's our first note in the scale. Then we go to E, which we count up the scale to find it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're on E. And then we go to D, which would be our 4. I like to use the notes I found to help me find the notes I haven't. So like if we just counted up to 5 to get to E, and we're going down 1 note in the scale, you don't even necessarily need to count up the scale again to find it. You can just go, oh, we're going down 1, that's 4. So we have 1, 5, 4, 1, and then we went to the B minor, which would be the 2. 1, 2, and then D again, that's our 4. So 1, 5, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1. And you can do this with almost any song. Let's say the chord progression was F sharp minor, A, D, A. This is Atlantic City, by the way. You can relate that one to the key of A major too. So our F sharp minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're on F sharp. And then to A, that's our 1. D, our 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to A, that's our 1. So this would be 6, 1, 4, 1. So all of these exercises combined do a lot for your playing because it's getting the scales down, getting the chords down, and actually understanding the songs you already know, which a lot of us guitar players learn a lot of songs but never take the time to actually understand what we're playing. When understanding what we're playing is one of the most important things to be playing at a professional level. It's hard to find a professional guitarist who doesn't know what they're playing, right? How would they be a professional if they don't know what they're playing? So it's important to take the time to figure out what you're playing. If you want to be around other guitar players that are putting the work into hitting their goals and get free help hitting your goals, join my free community link down below. And if you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you tomorrow.